Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back again to the channel, where today we're going to be doing a Visconti Flex Fuel kit. If everything looks familiar from the last video, it's because literally I'm just taking off right after doing the 1050Xs from Injector Dynamics. So with the injectors are in, we got to go Flex Fuel now. Once that's done, we'll be ready for the EcuTech tune and hopefully be ready for our first data lux. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the Zeotronics ethanol sensor first. Not ethanol sensor, but it's a gauge for your ethanol content. I had my buddy at Jack's 3D, Cody Scott. He hooked me up with a vent pod gauge for this little guy right here. Typically I wanted to run an AEM boost gauge in there, but I think I'm actually going to do that on my pillar when we finally get to installing gauges in the car. So let's go ahead and throw this in first, and then we'll go ahead and work around to the Flex Fuel kit. So here's the vent he made me. Really nice, good quality, really good print. I'll show you guys here in a minute when I take it out. I went ahead and test fitted to make sure everything looked good. It goes right here in your factory vents. It actually remains functional too with these vents here, and my gauge is going to go right here, so that's pretty cool. Take these out, pretty simple. You're just going to pull a little bit, pulls out just like that, and then we'll go ahead and disassemble this. So disassembling this is actually pretty straightforward. You have these pins that are going to go all around the air vent, and we're just going to tug on those. Pop those out just like that. Pretty easy. Put that piece aside. Same scenario right here. This one's just a little bit smaller. Maybe. You can take a flathead too or something and give a little bit of relief there. And as you can see, it's a really nice 3D print. He did a really good job on this. This just goes in just like that. And then we're gonna get around to installing the gauge now. So that fits in just like that. Very, very simple, very nice, very clean. Let's go ahead and get this back together now. All right, so once we get that shoved back in there, this is just going to fit right in. Be very nice, very simple. Just nice little push there. And that's all there is to it. That's very clean looking, very nice. I love that. All right, so now we're going to figure out where we are going to mount this sensor here. That's the question. It actually has a very nice mounting spot, but my Passport JDM covers are actually going to be in the way when I go to install those, and I don't really want to cut those up because they're a really nice carbon fiber. So I'm going to take a minute here to look around and see where else I could possibly mount this. Alright, so I apologize for being really bad at this because I wasn't filming that whole time. It's been like 3 years since I've actually done this actively. Actually, no, it's been longer than that. It's been like maybe 5. Anyways, we went ahead and mounted it here. This is still going to be in the way of our carbon fiber covers. I'm not liking it, but it looks like I may not have much of a choice but to cut them unless I can figure out another solution. But this is a very, very simple setup here. That fuel line we disconnected. See if I get it to focus there. Fuel line we disconnected for the when we're removing the fuel rail. We went ahead and tapped this one in here. This one runs into the sensor where we tap back into that other fuel line. So fuel is going to be running in through here. Sensor it, I guess, is the correct term maybe. And then once we get all the electronics hooked up, that will feed it back inside of my car to my gauge and tell me what ethanol content I have, plus makes my car flex fuel capable. So let's get to that part now. All right, so here's our wiring for the flex fuel kit. I went ahead and already plugged it into my rear O2 sensor. So now we're just going to kind of feed this around the car, make it look as pretty as possible, and tie it in with our flex fuel sensor. And run this one inside to run to our gauge. So that's what we're going to focus on now. So like I said, it's pretty simple. We plug into the rear O2 here. We ran this all the way up here where my air lines are currently running, all the way across the car. And then over here, plug in to the flex fuel sensor, and the other end it goes inside the cabin and to where I have the Zeotronics ethanol content gauge at. Everything looks good, seems tight. Like I said, I'm not fond of the placement just because that's where my covers are going, but we'll figure that road out when we come to it. And all we have to really do now is wait for Zach to send us over the base map, and then we can start data logging. So once he gets that over, we'll load it up on the car, reflash it, and then go for some driving. All right, so we got everything done that we needed to do. Injectors, flex fuel. I went ahead and flashed my first base map from Zach Tucker. I did not film that, I'm sorry. But everything looks good. Currently, we're just doing some light data logs, general driving. I am going out for my second data log now, so I'm gonna bring you guys with me. I also wanted to go over that I did install a 3-bar map sensor. I didn't show you guys the install for that, but it's actually very simple. Right there is your map sensor, and it's literally that bolt, that plug. It's a plug and play kit, very, very simple. And now that's going to read the correct boost pressure for my supercharger, because it was only reading 6 psi. Now I should get the full 9 to 10, whatever it's making. All right, so the tuning process itself is actually very straightforward. I got this EcuTech Bluetooth dongle. It's just going to plug into the OBD2 port. And once that's plugged in, ignition on. And then we're going to go ahead and bring up our EcuTech app. And then program ECU, engine, and he wants us to install this one. And we're going to shut the door and go ahead and do this. Now, it's very particular on how you flash these. We need to make sure that the ignition is on, engine's not running, handbrakes engaged, doors are closed, interior lights, headlights off, make sure those are off. Air conditioning and fans are not on, and the car battery isn't low. It's a new battery, so it should be fine. I'm not going to plug it into the tender. And then when we're ready, we just hit program. It's going to erase our current tune. And then we're going to start writing. If you don't have the phone flash, I believe your tachometer will actually go up and show you the percentage. But since I'm flashing on my phone, I don't believe I have that feature. Okay, now that we're going to turn the ignition off. It's going to tell us to turn it back on. It's going to clear our DCCs. And that's it. Now we're ready to drive. So now he wants us to do a data log for 10 minutes at idle and startup. So that's what we're going to do first. So bring up our data log in here, and then we're going to hit start and then start the car. Alright, so data logging's done. So now what we need to do is go in here to our data logs, and then we're going to select the last two files we just did, And then we are going to, I'm going to try to do this with one hand, send them to Counter Space Garage. And then I'm going to enter a quick description here, and that's literally all there is to it. All right, so that's going to be it for today's video. I think next time we are going to finally get the Passport JDM carbon covers in the car, and then tidy up the engine bay with some dress-up bolts, and we'll be nearly show ready. So as always, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.